At 68 years old, Eleanor had grown used to the silence in her home. It wasn't the kind of silence that demanded anything. It was the kind that settled into the walls and waited patiently, like a dog sitting by the door, hoping someone would come back. Her house, a cottage tucked in the hills of Oregon, had belonged to her and Charles for over 40 years. After he passed, she didn't sell it, though the children offered. Instead, she kept every painting on the walls, every dented teacup, every creaking stair that reminded her of him. The house didn't haunt her. It held her, wrapped her up in memory and dust and soft echoes. Every morning began the same. A cup of strong tea, a glance through the wide living room window toward the fog rolling over the pines, and a moment of stillness. She had come to love that pause, the breath before the world started spinning. But this morning felt different. She woke up before the alarm clock she no longer needed. The air had a weight to it, like the moments before a thunderstorm. She slipped into her robe, tied it loose, and padded barefoot to the kitchen. The kettle hissed. The floor was cold under her feet. As she waited, she looked at the old mirror near the pantry. It was cracked in the corner, a flaw she'd never fixed. She caught her reflection there more honestly than in the full-length mirror in the bedroom. This one didn't lie. Eleanor looked into her own eyes and saw something unfamiliar. Not sadness, not grief. Curiosity. She left the tea and wandered back to the bedroom, passing the photos on the hallway wall. Her children, her grandchildren. Charles in his favorite blue sweater, smiling crookedly at some forgotten joke. Eleanor stood in front of the full-length mirror and untied her robe. There was no fanfare in it. No music swelling in the background. Just the sound of fabric sliding over skin and falling to the floor. Her body had changed, certainly. There were creases, softness, memories folded into every inch. But she didn't flinch. She didn't look away. She stepped closer and touched her collarbone, her shoulder, her stomach, places she had ignored for years, as if they no longer belonged to her. She wasn't looking for beauty. She wasn't trying to reclaim youth. She was searching for presence. To see if she was still in there, somewhere beneath the years of caretaking, of grieving, of being what everyone else needed. And she was. Something unlocked in her that morning. Something essential. The ability to see herself not as what had been lost, but what still remained. She pulled out her old sketchpad that had been buried in the closet. She hadn't drawn in years, but her fingers remembered. Charcoal on paper. Slow, deliberate strokes. She drew her hands first. Then her shoulders. Then her face. Not as it once was, but as it was now. Strong. Whole. That evening, she sat in the garden as the sky turned the color of warm wine. The birds were unusually loud. The lavender swayed with a quiet confidence. She didn't need anyone to witness the change. It wasn't for them. It was for her. When the stars came out, Eleanor wrapped herself in a blanket, not because she was cold, but because the night felt like an embrace. She stayed out there for hours, listening to the stillness, no longer afraid of what it might whisper. The next morning, she called her daughter for the first time in weeks. Then her sister. She made plans. She put on her favorite necklace, the one she hadn't worn in over a decade. She went into town wearing lipstick and a long flowing coat, smiling at strangers like she had a secret. 'Cause she did. That quiet moment in front of the mirror had become the pivot. The day she remembered who she was. Not just Eleanor the widow. Not just the mother, the grandmother, the woman who used to be. But Eleanor now. Fully, truly, finally. And that was enough.